Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Mercedes A-Class W177 generation facelift. This specific model is the A200 Premium Plus package, meaning it is the top of the range model you can get. I've been driving this car for the past 3 months. I've owned it for the past 3 months, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and impressions on it. So let's begin. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the exterior design. Now, the Mercedes A-Class is a pretty good looking car. Now, if you remember the first generations of the A-Class, the first 2 generations, they were not that good looking. The design was a bit unproportional. It was like this small, tall vehicle with very narrow sides and very short wheelbase. Mercedes kind of probably understood that this type of design was not attractive. So the third generation, I believe it was called the W169, they changed it, made it more into a traditional hatchback design. And genuinely, I was not a fan of the Mercedes A-Class in terms of design. I was more of a fan of the Audi A3 or the BMW 1 Series. However, with the facelift, the W177 generation, I think Mercedes have nailed it, especially these wheels. If you get the Premium Plus package, you get these 19-inch AMG line wheels, and I think they really suit this car very well. This specific car is finished in, I believe, night black, which is an option. It has this metallic-y flake to the paint, and you can see it especially under direct sunlight. It is a very good looking color. If you don't want black, Mercedes has other colors. They have a yellow, I think it's called racing yellow. They also have a Patagonia red. They got what I think digital white, silver, gray, matte gray. They got a lot of colors for this car. Now, in terms of engines, this specific car is the A200, so it has the 1.3 liter 4-cylinder engine with a turbocharger coupled to a mild hybrid system that produces 177 horsepower and 290 newton meters of torque. Now, this specific engine that is found in the A180 and A200 is co-developed with Mercedes and Renault. The engine itself, it's pretty good, but yeah, it's definitely, you can tell it's not a German engineered engine. Not available in the UK, but in other European markets, if you want a more powerful engine, you can get the A220, which is a Mercedes-Benz engine, which has a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that has 190 horsepower with an 8-speed gearbox compared to the 7-speed found in the A180 and A200. And you can also get a top-of-the-range A250, which has the same engine from the A35 2-liter 4-cylinder with a turbocharger with 240 horsepower. Now, you can also get a plug-in hybrid model, the A250e, which has the same engine as the A180 and A200, the 1.3 liter 4-cylinder, coupled to a hybrid system, which should give you around an output of 220 horsepower. So yeah, in terms of engine choices, you have a lot. You also have an A200D diesel engines, which are 2-liter diesel engines, I believe made by Mercedes-Benz. Those have around 160, probably around 150 horsepower. So yeah, let's now take a quick look around the exterior of the car and show you what's new with the facelift compared to the pre-facelift W177. Okay, so let's walk through the exterior design. Now, as I said, this particular car is finished in, I believe, night black. It's like this metallic-y paint, and I cleaned the car today. You can't really see the effects of the metallic paint. You really need to see it under direct sunlight to get the full effect, but it is a nice paint option. Now, I know black might seem a bit boring, but I feel like any Mercedes-Benz model looks good in black, especially coupled with the chrome accents that this car does have. Now, as I said, this car has the Premium Plus package, and in the UK, that means you get these 19-inch AMG line wheels, which do look pretty cool. I think it is definitely a worthy upgrade. It does make this car look way more premium. I like to think of it as a mini S-Class in that sense, because it just goes so well with the chrome accents. Now, this car has also, with the Premium Plus package, the multi-beam LED headlights, which is a very useful option, especially if you drive a lot at night. They can partially blank out part of their beams to not as oncoming drivers, while still providing you full beam. And you can tell that with the blue accent right there with the Mercedes-Benz logo. Now, for the grille, for the facelift, you get these now Mercedes-Benz stars Previously just had little circles. This badge, depending on if you have the driver assistance package, will actually be 2D. This is a 3D badge. This car unfortunately does not have the driver's assistance package, but it also still has basic adaptive cruise control. I'll talk about the packages more in a minute. Mercedes-Benz logo here as well. The bumpers are new. Now you can't really tell because it's a black car, but this part of the bumper was changed for the facelift. Chrome accents. Now in European markets you can get night package, which will give all of this a night gloss, a black gloss look. In the UK, unfortunately, that's not available for standard A-Class models, only for the top of the line A35 and A45 models. But I do like these chrome door handles that Mercedes-Benz now offer for the A-Class. It just goes so well with the chrome accents and the wheels. And again, as I said, makes this car look like a mini S-Class, as I like to think of it. With the facelift, we also get new rear tail lights, and I think these are a massive improvement. I like the fact that they got rid of the white section that was here with the turn signals and the reverse light. It's just all red now with a little portion for the reverse light. These new tail lights look much better than the pre-facelift. New bumpers as well. Apparently they made the diffuser a bit more aggressive. Fake exhausts, the real exhausts are underneath the car. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just a Mercedes A-Class. It's a good looking car. I like this part of design. Really mimics their other models like the C-Class, E-Class, S-Class, the way they have this window line going down like this. Of course, you can also get the sedan version of this car. I prefer the hatch because it's more practical. But yeah, it's a nice looking car. And with the Premium Plus package, you also get a panoramic glass sunroof, which is definitely a nice option. So let's now get inside the car and talk about the interior. You join me inside the 2024 Mercedes A-Class, and right out of the gate, if I just turn on the infotainment system, log into my profile, it is a nice cabin. And one of the key areas the A-Class stands out compared to its competitors is definitely the interior design. The way you have this double screen layout with the MBUX. Now the facelift gets Mercedes-Benz latest infotainment system, the MBUX NTG7, and this new steering wheel as well, which has these touch capacitive buttons, which honestly, yeah, they're not the easiest to use on the road while driving. They are a bit not the most precise. It is definitely not as good as having physical buttons, but aesthetically this does make the steering wheel look very nice, and I really like what Mercedes-Benz have done with the steering wheel, these three-spoke designs for the AMG line models. If you get the standard Avantgrad model, you get a different design steering wheel. But I feel like the AMG line is worth having alone for this steering wheel design. I also like the galvanized paddle shifters. Now I don't shift gears manually because this is not an AMG model, but it does add to the premiumness of this cabin. You have pretty good materials on the inside, soft touch plastics. Now, in European markets, you can get AMG leather package, which will give you leather surfaces. Unfortunately, it's not available in the UK. It's only available for the A35 and A45 models. You have these classic Mercedes-Benz turbine-style air vents, which also have ambient lighting in them, which is a nice touch. Then you have this cubby hole area here, which has your cup holders, which are adaptive. They have these flaps, which allows you to put smaller size cups and wireless charger, as well as a USB port. Now, speaking of USB ports, this car, because it is a Premium Plus model, it has the USB Plus package, which gives you a total of 4 USB-C ports in the car, which is definitely a nice option to have. All USB-C gives you a lot of charging points for you and your passengers. Now, a lot of people complain about this air vent HVAC control panel not being the most sturdiest, and I mean, it's fine. I don't see any rattles, and generally the build quality of this cabin is solid. I don't notice any. Now this is a new car, but so far I don't notice any rattles, squeaks, or anything like that, because a lot of people complain about the Mercedes A-Class's build quality, that the interior is not the most solid. I could complain about the quality of the dampers, because BMWs and Audis, the Audi RS3 that I reviewed, yes, that is an RS3, but it's still based on the A3, and the BMW 1 Series, which I didn't review, but I sat in the 1 Series I can't remember the model name exactly, the FO1 or something, but the switchgear feels way better quality than in this car. But of course you can't expect everything to feel at a high quality, considering this is Mercedes-Benz's base model. This is their entry-level model. So I do like these LED lights for the interior lights, and that is a nice touch. This warm, the warm lighting that they give. That I can open the shade from the panoramic glass sunroof, which is electric. I like that. The seat controls, now the Premium Plus package gets electric seats, which is nice, with memory function, so you can preset your favorite seat settings. The glove box is a pretty good size. The door bins are also pretty good size. You have heated seats, which is a standard for the Premium Plus model. No ventilated seats in European models. In the European market, you can also get ventilated seats. And in terms of the sound system, now, before Mercedes-Benz also used to offer a Burmester sound system as an option. It is available for the A35 and A45 models in the UK. You can get it as an option for 700 euros in European markets. Unfortunately, not anymore in the UK. The top of the range model you now can get is Mercedes-Benz's advanced sound system. And having listened to it many times, because I do play music quite often when I drive, it is a decent sound system. I would rank it as 6 out of 10. Obviously, you're not going to expect anything exceptional out of it, but one thing I would definitely recommend is play your music from a USB drive. Format all the files of FLAC file format, or use Tidal, because this is the best way I could get the best sound quality out of this sound system. You have 10 speakers. I believe they have 200 watts of power. It does have an EQ. You can set your bass, your treble, your mids, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it's a decent sound system. It's a decent sound system. It sounds pretty good. It's got good bass, and decent mids and highs. And one great thing about the sound system is it does do a pretty good job of isolating road noise and everything from the outside world. But yeah, in terms of the cabin, it is a pretty good cabin. The driving position is nice. You got great adjustment from the seats. It's quite spacious. I got quite good amount of headroom thanks to the panoramic sunroof as well. Good amount of foot space. And this car generally, what I noticed about the A-Class, it doesn't feel compact. Like when I sat in the Audi RS3 that I reviewed a couple of months ago, it felt claustrophobic. This car doesn't feel like that way. Maybe because the RS3 has a more sloped roofline, the A-Class is more boxier in that sense. Therefore, it feels more spacious inside. Now let me give you a more in-depth look at the infotainment system. Now, this is Mercedes-Benz's latest MBUX NTG7. They got rid of this touchpad. The A-Class used to have a touchpad here before, which some other Mercedes-Benz models still offer. Not anymore for the A-Class, unfortunately. Now you just have this empty tray where you can put your stuff in. So you can only control it using your finger, touchscreen, or the steering wheel controls here, that slidey controls here, which actually is quite convenient, I'm not gonna lie. This is a very nice way to use the infotainment system while driving. Infotainment system itself is quite easy to use. It's intuitive. It has everything you need: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, both wireless. The map, which unfortunately I can't show you for security reasons, is quite good. I use the navigation system a lot in this car. I don't use Apple Maps or Google Maps. I use the inbuilt sat-nav, and it is very good. It also has AR technology, which shows you an augmented view of the road ahead when you need to take turns and stuff, which is also quite useful. The digital driver's display, very configurable. You can put your map, if this can focus, your main display, which these two dials, very simplistic, very nice. A lot of people complain about this blue hue. I honestly don't mind it. I like the simplicity, the simplistic design of these gauges. You can also have a sport view, which shows your revs, your engine data, your Newton meters and your power and your G-force. And then you have this understated view, which you can also change color, which certainly looks very nice. I like the clock that they show you here. Very Mercedes-Benz in my opinion. Down here you have this cubby area, which I like that they provide this cover. You can slide that down. I have my USB stick for music and 2 cup holders for your drinks with these flaps, which are very useful for smaller cups. As I said, this small tray, and here you have a nicely sized cubby area for all your shenanigans. And yeah, I mean, in terms of cabin layout, this is a very nicely laid out cabin. I like the HVAC controls, very easy to reach, easy to understand, and the clickiness of these buttons, very nicely engineered. And it shows your temperature here. And if I could click climate menu, you can set up all your HVAC controls here as well. At least it's nice that they still offer physical buttons for the climate control and not all fully digitally integrated. On top of the premium package and the premium plus package get a heads-up display, which is actually very nice. It is very configurable. You can configure it using the touch controls on the car here. If you scroll up, you get your standard view, which if I zoom in, this is your standard view. And if you have navigation active, it will show you your map ahead of you. You can also get an eco display, which will show you your eco meter with how well you're doing based on the stars, based on how economically you drive. Your settings to adjust its height and brightness. You can turn it off here. If I press that on, it will turn it off. Or I turned it back on. And your sport displays, which shows your revs on the heads-up display, and minimal if you don't want anything to appear on your heads-up display. It will also show you your traffic signs when you are out on the road. You join me in the back seat. Let me just get rid of this pillow. You join me in the back seat of the Mercedes A-Class, and the back seat, it is pretty good in here in terms of space-wise. Now the seat is sitting in my driving position. I'm 179 centimeters tall. I got pretty good knee room. Foot space is okay. If you could ask the driver to lift the seat, you might have more foot room, but it's pretty good. Headroom is good. I got maybe about 4 or 5 centimeters of space above my head before my head will touch the ceiling. Air vents for the rear passengers and a USB-C port to charge their devices. You get speakers here, electric windows, which do go all the way down. If I put that down, which is nice for the rear passengers. And also an armrest here, which has cup holders. And a lot of people complain about these cup holders, the fact that they are flimsy. Honestly, they do their job well. They do actually manage to hold drinks pretty well, so I have no issues at all. And I like the fact that you do get an armrest, because a lot of entry-level cars from this class don't have an armrest. Yeah, I mean, space-wise, it's good. Comfort-wise, the seats are a bit upright. I think compared to the Audi RS3 that I reviewed a couple of months ago, the seats in there were definitely maybe a bit more comfortable. The angle of the seat backs was a bit lower, therefore it was better for your back. But it's, you know, pretty doable back here, I could say that. Now let's talk about trunk size, the trunk space. Now, one of the things that actually bothers me is the fact that you can't get an A-Class with an electric trunk lid at all, not even the top of the range A35 and A45 models, which I find strange because competitors like Audi and BMW offer it on their A3 and 1 Series models. So yeah, it is strange that you can't get an A-Class with an electric trunk lid. Maybe it's something Mercedes-Benz will introduce when the next generation car comes out. If you're wondering, well, isn't that supposed to be a trunk release for an electric trunk lid? No, that is for the tow bar. If you get a tow bar as an option, that is to pop your tow bar out. In terms of trunk space, you have 350 liters of space, which is a bit less than its competitors, the 1 Series and the A3, which have 380 liters, but it is still a pretty good size. If you're going grocery shopping, you can fit maybe a good amount of 5 shopping bags in here, no problem at all. You can fit 1 large size suitcase and 1 small size suitcase if you remove the load cover. Yeah, it's a pretty sizable good trunk. Underneath the trunk lid, maybe I should remove this. As an option for European markets not available in the UK, you have a storage package which will give you nets at the side here, as well as a 12-watt socket. Unfortunately, it is not available in the UK. Underneath the trunk lid, you have a lot of shenanigans, your tow hook, your tire inflator, spare tire inflator, as well as wheel bolts for, I guess, a spare wheel, which this car doesn't have. A subwoofer for the sound system, and yeah, you can't really fit anything much else underneath there. So yeah, in terms of trunk space, this car is pretty spacious, good usable trunk. I usually remove this load cover because when driving it does rattle quite a lot, so that can get a bit annoying. But yeah, I just find it strange that this car does not have an electric tailgate as an option at all. Talking about some of the things I don't like about this car, the seats. Now these AMG sports seats, which you get with the AMG line, as well as on the A35 and A45 models, are pretty cool looking. Yes, the fixed headrests, they do look cool. However, these headrests do protrude quite a lot, and it means when you're driving, as you can see, my head is quite far forward, and therefore when doing long distance road trips, your neck starts to hurt quite a lot because of this uncomfortable position. So yeah, the seats are a drawback in this car. Now, if you get the Avantgrad model, the baseline model, it has normal comfort seats, as well as if you get the sedan model, the AMG line sedan, that also has comfort seats. I don't understand why Mercedes-Benz decision to not include comfort seats in the hatchback, but in the sedan. It's a bit strange, and I wish it was an option to add comfort seats, because yeah, these seats, they may look cool, but in practice they're not the most comfortable. This head, the position of your head is quite uncomfortable, and what I end up doing on long distance drives is just reclining the seat to account for my head comfort, but that does mean you're quite far back from the steering wheel and the pedals, and it feels quite unsafe doing so, you know. So the seats are definitely a drawback in this car, I would say. Another thing I don't like about this car is the fact that for the Premium Plus package, now I know it might seem a bit nitpicky, but, and especially considering this is a German, Mercedes-Benz is a German brand and the Germans like to do this a lot, I think that with the Premium Plus package, the driver assistance package should be standard, which means I would have like this 2D Mercedes-Benz logo here for the radar system, for the adaptive cruise control. Now, this car does have adaptive cruise control. It is part of Mercedes-Benz's active distance assist Distronic, which uses the radar cameras here to work as cruise control. But having the having the driver assistance package, which also gives you the radar, means you have a more reliable and safer cruise control system. Also, it gives you active steering assist, so you don't have to steer, the car can actually steer for you. You do have to hold your hands on the steering wheel, but it will actively steer for you to keep you in lane when you're on the highway. This doesn't have that, it just has adaptive cruise control. So yeah, that is, I find that a bit annoying. I understand if this is a premium package, but the driver assisted package costs only £1,300. Why not add it on top of the price of the car for the Premium Plus package and have a full spec car, you know? That I find a bit annoying. The way you can tell that the car has adaptive cruise control is I have this button right here for distance control. Now, as I said, it uses the cameras mounted here for that system, and it's a good system. It's not the smoothest, don't get me wrong. It can be a bit harsh on braking, you know, if a car suddenly in front of you stops, it can be a bit harsh on the braking. And sometimes, because the cameras, you know, they're not the most reliable way to keep vehicles distance in front, compared to a radar sensor which can actually, you know, counter the vehicle's distance. It's not the most smoothest system. Sometimes it can brake unnecessarily, which can be a bit annoying and can be dangerous as well. So I tend to not use this system often. It is still a good option to have, makes long distance driving a lot easier. One of my favorite also features that you get with the Premium Plus package, keyless entry. All I have to do is touch the door handle, the car unlocks. Touch it here, the car will lock. And one little nice touch Mercedes-Benz added to the keyless entry features. If I open the car, so let's say you left your sunroof or your window open, of course you can hold the button on your lock button on your key to lock the car and close the windows that are left open, or you can put your hand on the sensor that will lock it. There we go, and I'm holding it and it will close the window as well, which is so convenient. And I don't know if other manufacturers do this, but this is a feature I definitely like. Now, another thing I like that this car has, the Premium Plus, with the Premium Plus package, that the BMW 1 Series actually doesn't have, 360-degree cameras. Now, it's not showing that because the door is open, but as you can see, the cameras are great, and they're great resolution as well. You got ultra wide, narrow angle, very useful for parking. You have all sorts of views. Yeah, it's a very good camera system. And you also have Park Assist Plus as part of the premium package, which means it will search for a parking space and it can park itself automatically without needing to steer or even use the pedals. The car will park automatically, which is a very cool feature. Now that we walked around the car, let's talk about the driving experience. The driving experience of this car, having driven it for about 3 months, 2,900 kilometers, is pretty good, I can say. The only downside I would say is obviously dynamic driving and the engine. Being that this is a Renault engine, not a fully Mercedes-Benz engine, it is obviously not the most dynamic, you know. It's not the most responsive engine if you want to have go about and have some fun on the road. But on the upside of this engine, it is very economical. Being a 1.3 liter engine, it is very efficient when it comes to fuel consumption. Driving it around the highway, doing 100 k's an hour, it will give you about 6 liters per 100 kilometers. So in the city, you get about 9 liters per 100 kilometers. So yeah, in terms of fuel economy, it is a very efficient car. In terms of comfort, the suspension, now in the European market, you can get adaptive suspension. This car, unfortunately, does not have it. It has Mercedes-Benz's standard comfort suspension, and it is pretty good. It is comfortable, pretty comfortable at slow speeds, but it gets even more comfortable on higher speeds on the highway. If you do about 70 miles an hour, deals with bumps really nicely. So yeah, suspension in this car is quite comfortable. Of course, if you do want some of that fun element, you will have to get a BMW 1 Series maybe. The steering on this car, like, it's quite precise, not the most engaging, but it's nice and light. So when it comes to comfort driving, it is very good. And one of the things I like about this car is it's very maneuverable. It has a turning radius of 11 meters, which is better than its competitors. So driving this around town, making U-turns, no problem at all. Driving position in this car is very good. As I said, the cabin is very spacious. The only complaint, as I said, is the seats, but you know, in terms of the driving position itself, it's very nicely laid out. So yeah, in terms of the driving experience, it is a very nice car to drive. Of course, the only downside being, because it's the Mercedes-Benz and not a BMW, the dynamic aspect of the car is, you know, a bit lacking. But I still have fun with this car on B roads, you know. It's still a good amount of fun to throw this car around, given that it's so small. The engine, very smooth thanks to the mild hybrid system as well. At low speeds, pretty responsive, smooth. Of course, when you get at the top end of the rev range, it does start to lack power, but that is expected given it's a 1.3 liter engine. So yeah, in terms of driving experience, it's a pretty good car to drive. The sound insulation of this car is also quite good. Having driven this with passengers in the car on the highway doing 110 kilometers an hour, you can have conversations properly without having to raise your voice. So that is also good. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Mercedes A-Class. So guys, this has been my in-depth tour of the 2024 Mercedes A-Class. It is a good car. I really like it. I really like the spec that I have chosen. The wheels, as I said, I'm a huge fan of those wheels. They are new for the facelifted models, and I think they are definitely worth it. They make this car look so much more premium. And as I said, like a mini S-Class. Chrome door handles, fan of that. Chrome surrounds, really make it look like a Mercedes-Benz. Give you a final walk around of the car. I'm a fan of those new rear tail lights. Also a fan of this feature, as I showed you, the pop-out camera. That means your camera always stays clean. Very good car, very big fan of it. Let me know, guys, in the comments, what do you think of the Mercedes A-Class? If you own one, what is your ownership experience like? That's been it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.